Yo, what's up, jazz guitar friends? Larry Tamanini here with Jazz Guitar Under 5 Minutes. Hey, you just heard me playing through On Green Dolphin Street, one of the most essential jazz standards anyone can ever learn, right? And, you know, this is a song that gets played a lot, written by Bronislaw Kaper in 1947. It's from a novel. It's a song that's like 78 years old, still gets played, sounds good as a swinger, sounds good as a bossa or some kind of Latin, whatever, however you want to play it. But check it out. There's a real easy way to learn this song. And this is a song that gets called in a lot of keys. I like to play it in E flat. A lot of people like to play it in C. Sounds good in every single key though. But check it out. Let's talk about this song. It's a 32 bar jammy, right? We got an 8 bar A, 8 bar B, another 8 bar A that gets repeated, right? So once you learn that, that's half the tune. And then we have another 8 bar, let's call it a C section, right? Instead of a B B A or A B A. I like to think of this as A B A C. And you know what? If you like the game of chess, you can look at this song and the way it moves, almost like a chessboard, right? And it starts out, like if I'm playing the key of E flat, I'm going to kind of, this is like my king tone, right? This is where I'm going to stay. It's my big daddy note. And I'm going to go from this major to a minor. And really easily, almost like the way a pawn moves in one step at a time, I can go down from here, right, all the way. So that's a really easy way to kind of put that whole 8 bar thing together, right? Anytime there's like a tune with slash chords, you know, it looks like an algebra equation and, oh my goodness, what am I going to put over this? Well, you don't have to worry about it too much, right? So I'm just thinking about major to minor, right? And then I'm thinking about going up to my 2, down to my flat 2, walking down with this root. Now, what happens in the B section, I start on my 2, and I have this 2-5-1 establishes the tonality. And almost like a rook, I'm moving straight up from this F to a minor third, 2-5 of this G flat. Kind of do this little cool walk up too, we'll talk about that later. But check it out. All right, nothing too heavy there either. I'm playing a 2-5-1 in the original key, right? I finally get to move off that one note, right? So I'm starting on a 2. And I play a 2-5-1. And then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take that up a minor third, right? Just going up that up to minor third street, and I resolve to here. Now, I play this little walk up. It brings me to the 5. And I'm going right back, right? Right? Just now what happens in this last part, this is almost, you know, even if you're pretty decent at transposing, you get to this part of the tune and maybe you have to glance over it. But let's talk about what happens in this final 8 bars, right? I'm going to play it first. to look at these last 8 bars, again, I'm going to use the chess analogy, as like a knight, the way a knight would move, right? I'm starting from my 2 again, but instead of going to my 5, I'm going to go down a whole step. And then the way a knight moves, I'm going to kind of go 2 down, 1 over. I'm going to get to my 6. I'm going to do the same thing. And then here, it's going to have something like a back cycling, almost the way like a bishop moves diagonally, right? What is back cycling? Right? Back cycling is so important. Well, if I was to just take back cycling from the very beginning, I'd have, you know, B flat to the E flat. And then the next step would be what? Some form of F. The next step from that would be some form of C. The next step of that would be, the next step of that would be what? And, you know, if I'm starting from here, which happens, right, flat 5, this A minor 7, flat 5, just kind of working my way to the 3, 6, 2, 5, and again, whatever turn around you want to do. Sometimes you go up a half step because it sounds cool. Sometimes you can do them both. Why not? All right, so check it out. Let's apply this to another key real quick. A lot of people like to play this in the key of C. So now I'm back in C, and I know this is again my big daddy tonality, right? I'm going to stay right here, and then I'm going to kind of go up. And then sort of gonna walk down like a pawn here, right? Half step, 1 move at a time. Then I have my 2, right? And then like a rook, right? And I'm right back to where I was. Just hanging out here, right? Great, and then I get to this part, and again, now I kind of have that where I sort of go down a half step, and then I'm going to pick up a 2-5 to my 6. I'm going to go down a half step, and now I'm just going to back cycle a lot, right? From a flat 5, F sharp, B, and I have my 3, 6, 2, 5, whatever I want to do here, right? Let's try that in another key. You know, if I was to play this in the key of G, and then I'd have my, G's a great key to do this in. Again, I'm just thinking about going to my 2. And then I'm gonna, right, move straight up. Okay, right back there. And then here, depending on where I want to pick up my A, kind of really illustrates that kind of like movement better if I grab it right there, right? And then I can, right? Again, this is a tune that should really take about 5 minutes to internalize the chords. Once you sort of know where you're working from, right? And you break it down into smaller parts. You think about that first part, just kind of staying in that one big daddy tonality. You think about the second part, just going, switch keys, right? Right, you think about that second part, just kind of 2, 5, 1, and then doing the same thing up a minor third. You think about going to that third part, and you're just sort of walking down, right? You kind of have that movement, and then a back cycle. That's going to really bring me back. It's like a super long turnaround, the whole thing. So, all right, jazz guitar friends, on Green Dolphin Street, or Endorphin Street, or Dolph Lundgren Street, whatever you want to call this song, it's a great tune. It's been around for 78 years because it's fun to play over. It's a cool vehicle to improv, and, you know, sounds great. And if you're playing a guitar, why not play it in the key of E? Really great sound, right? Ooh, I love this chord. fun with this tune. You know, I might have went over a little bit for 5 minutes, but a great song to sort of think outside the box, right? I love analogies, sports, games, they all work really well with guitar. So, you know, do your searching for jazz Bobby Fischer with those chess analogies and have fun with it. Keep swinging. Bebop.